The breaking point. Captain Maya Chen stood at the observation deck of Station Nexus, watching the swirling nebula that marked the heart of the Intergalactic Trade Consortium. For 12 years, she had served as humanity's primary diplomatic representative to the most powerful alliance in known space. Today would be her last. The station buzzed with activity as representatives from 47 different species moved through its corridors. The Vraxians, with their metallic exoskeletons, clinked as they walked. The gas-based ethereals floated in their containment suits, leaving trails of luminescent particles. The plant-like thornbacks rustled their leaf-covered limbs as they conducted business. All of them had one thing in common. They had grown fat and lazy on human innovation. Maya's communicator chirped. A message from Earth had arrived, encrypted with the highest security protocols. She moved to her private quarters and activated the quantum secure channel. Dr. James Porter's weathered face appeared on the holographic display, his eyes bright with excitement and exhaustion. Maya, the breakthrough we've been working on for the past decade is complete. Project New Dawn is ready for implementation. How much time do we have? Maya felt her heart race. For 10 years, humanity's greatest minds had been working in secret on something the consortium believed impossible, while the aliens saw humans as clever servants, useful for their creativity, but ultimately inferior. Earth's scientists had been solving problems that had stumped galactic civilization for millennia. The Vraxians are demanding our quantum resonance technology again, Maya replied. They're threatening economic sanctions if we don't hand over the complete specifications by tomorrow. Chancellor Vexhai called humans a useful but primitive species that should be grateful for our protection. James's expression darkened. After everything we've given them. The medical nanobots that cured the ethereal plague. The environmental restoration technology that saved the Thornback homeworld. The defensive shields that protect their trade routes. And they still call us primitive. Maya nodded grimly. The pattern had repeated for decades. Humans would innovate, solve impossible problems, and create technologies that revolutionize galactic society. In return, they received minimal representation in the consortium, restricted access to certain sectors of space, and constant demands for more innovations. The aliens took credit for human achievements, claiming they were simply guiding humanity toward these breakthroughs. There's more, Maya continued. Senator Krulmoth suggested that humans should be relocated to designated zones for better coordination of their research efforts. They're planning to turn us into a managed species. The door to Maya's quarters chimed. Her assistant, Lieutenant David Park, entered with an urgent expression. Captain, the Consortium Council has called an emergency session. You're required to attend immediately. Maya exchanged glances with James on the screen. It's starting, she said quietly. Are you ready? All colony ships are in position, James confirmed. The moment you give the signal, we begin Phase 1. Maya, are you sure about this? There's no going back once we start. Maya thought about her daughter, safe on Earth, probably playing in the gardens that human terraforming technology had created. She thought about the thousands of human colonies scattered across consortium space, all of them producing innovations that made alien life better while receiving nothing but condescension in return. She thought about the secret research stations hidden in asteroid belts and forgotten systems, where humanity's best minds had spent years preparing for this moment. I'm sure, she said. It's time they learned what the galaxy looks like without us. The Consortium Council chamber was a massive sphere suspended in the center of Station Nexus, with viewing ports offering a spectacular view of the surrounding nebula. Representatives from each member species sat in elevated platforms arranged in concentric circles, with the founding races occupying the innermost ring. Humans, despite their contributions, sat in the outermost circle with the newest and least influential members. Chancellor Vexhai of the Vraxian Empire dominated the central platform. His species had ruled the consortium for over 1,000 years, using their military might to maintain order and their bureaucracy to control innovation. Standing nearly 8 feet tall with a gleaming chrome exoskeleton, He embodied the arrogance that had defined alien-human relations for generations. "The emergency session will now commence," Vexhai announced, his mechanical voice echoing through the chamber. "We are here to address the human species' continued resistance to sharing vital technologies with the consortium." Maya activated her platform's communication system. "With respect, Chancellor, humanity has shared more technology with the consortium than any other species. Our contributions over the past 50 years include faster-than-light communication, quantum computing, biological restoration systems, and defensive technologies that protect every world in consortium space. Contributions that were made possible by consortium resources and guidance," interrupted Senator Thylus of the Crystalline Assembly. Her species looked like living gemstones, beautiful but cold. "Humans seem to forget that your primitive ancestors were barely capable of space travel when we welcomed you into civilized society." A murmur of agreement swept through the chamber. Maya had heard variations of this argument countless times. According to official consortium history, humans were a lucky species that had stumbled into space and been graciously uplifted by their alien benefactors. The truth was different. Humans had developed faster-than-light travel independently, but the aliens had rewritten history to make themselves look like saviors rather than opportunists. "The quantum resonance technology you're demanding could revolutionize space travel," Maya said, keeping her voice steady. "But it could also be weaponized. Humanity requests equal representation on the Consortium Council before sharing such sensitive innovations." The chamber erupted in laughter. Even species that had never shown emotion before seemed amused by Maya's request. Chancellor Vexhai raised a metallic hand for silence. "Equal representation. Your species has been part of the consortium for less than a century. The founding races have guided galactic civilization for millennia. What possible qualification could humans have for equal status?" Maya felt the weight of the moment. Everything her species had worked toward hung on what happened next. In hidden facilities across human space, Dr. Porter and thousands of other scientists were waiting for her signal. Colony ships disguised as mining vessels sat ready to begin humanity's greatest exodus. Most importantly, the dimensional fold drives that would make their escape possible were powered up and ready. "We request 1 week to consider your demands," Maya said carefully. "Unacceptable," Vexhai replied. "The technology specifications will be delivered within 12 hours, or humanity will face immediate economic sanctions and possible relocation to supervised territories." The threat was clear: become slaves or face destruction. Maya looked around the chamber at faces that showed no sympathy, no understanding, and no respect. These beings had benefited from human innovation for decades while treating her species like clever pets. They had never considered that humans might have their own agenda. "I see," Maya said, standing slowly. "Then I have an announcement to make." She activated her emergency broadcast system, sending her words not just to the Consortium Council, but to every human colony, every research station, and every hidden facility across known space. For 50 years, humanity has contributed to the betterment of galactic civilization. We have cured diseases, restored dead worlds, and protected the innocent. We have shared our innovations freely, asking only for respect and fair treatment in return. Today, the consortium has made it clear that we will never be seen as equals, only as a resource to be exploited. Chancellor Vexhai was frantically trying to cut her communication signal, but Maya had learned a few tricks during her years as a diplomat. Her message was broadcasting on frequencies the aliens didn't know humans could access. Therefore, effective immediately, humanity withdraws from the Intergalactic Trade Consortium. All human colonies will cease operations. All human technology will be recalled. All human research will be discontinued. She paused, watching as the chamber fell into stunned silence. Even the usually impassive ethereals seemed agitated, their containment suits flickering with unusual patterns. "To the species who treated us with respect and kindness, we thank you and apologize for any inconvenience our departure may cause. To those who saw us only as a resource to be exploited, we leave you with this thought: You never bothered to learn what we were truly capable of. That was your mistake. Maya deactivated her communication system and looked directly at Chancellor Vexhai. The galaxy is yours now. Good luck maintaining it without us. The chamber exploded into chaos as representatives began shouting in dozens of languages. Security forces moved toward Maya's platform, but she was already activating her personal transport beacon. As the familiar tingle of teleportation washed over her, she caught a glimpse of Vexhai's face. For the first time in her years of dealing with him, the arrogant chancellor looked genuinely afraid. Maya materialized in the transport bay of the UES Prometheus, humanity's most advanced diplomatic vessel. Captain Rodriguez was waiting for her, along with her senior staff. Through the ship's viewports, she could see Station Nexus in the distance, already beginning to show signs of panic as alien officials realized the scope of humanity's announcement. Phase 1 is complete, Maya reported. All colonies have confirmed receipt of the withdrawal order. How long until the aliens react? Captain Rodriguez consulted her tactical display. Consortium security forces are already mobilizing. They're sending fleets to every major human colony. Estimated arrival time is 6 hours for the nearest targets. Maya smiled grimly. They still don't understand. They think they can force us to stay through military action. Should we initiate Phase 2? Asked Commander Torres, the ship's chief engineer. Maya thought about Dr. Porter and his team, working frantically to implement the final preparations for humanity's great escape. She thought about the thousands of families already aboard disguised colony ships, ready to journey into the unknown rather than submit to alien domination. She thought about the galaxy the aliens would inherit, filled with problems they had never bothered to learn how to solve, because humans had always been there to do it for them. Not yet, she said. Let them come. Let them see what happens when they try to cage the species that gave them everything they take for granted. When they realize what they're about to lose, then we'll show them what humans are really capable of. The Prometheus's engines hummed to life as the ship set course for Earth. Behind them, the lights of Station Nexus flickered as critical systems began to fail. Human-designed power networks were shutting down. Human-maintained life support systems were going offline. Human-programmed navigation computers were erasing their databases. The consortium had 12 hours to realize their mistake. After that, it would be too late to repair the damage they had done to the only species capable of saving them from themselves. The Great Departure. 6 hours after Maya Chen's announcement, the first consortium fleets arrived at human colonies across the galaxy. What they found defied everything they thought they knew about their former allies. Commander Sarah Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the UES New Horizon, watching through the viewscreen as a massive Vraxian battlecruiser approached the mining colony of Kepler 442 bits. The alien ship was 3 times the size of anything in the human fleet, bristling with weapons that could reduce a planet to molten rock. But Sarah wasn't afraid. Incoming transmission from the Vraxian vessel, reported Lieutenant Chen, her communications officer. They're demanding that the colony submit to immediate occupation. Sarah activated the response channel. This is Commander Rodriguez of the United Earth Systems. You are approaching sovereign human territory. Please state your intentions. The harsh mechanical voice of a Vraxian admiral filled the bridge. I am Admiral Krathic of the Consortium Enforcement Fleet. By order of Chancellor Vexhai, this colony is now under Consortium protection, pending resolution of the human withdrawal crisis. Prepare for boarding. Sarah almost smiled. Even now, they thought they could solve this with threats and superior firepower. Admiral, I'm afraid that's not possible. This colony is no longer operational. Through the viewscreen, they could see the Vraxian ship's scanning beams sweeping across the planetary surface. The colony's massive mining installations sat silent and dark. The fusion reactors that had powered the operation for 20 years were offline. The orbital platforms that processed rare minerals hung empty and lifeless. Impossible. Admiral Krathic snarled. Our intelligence indicates this colony houses nearly 50,000 humans. Explain their location immediately. Sarah gestured to her tactical officer, who activated a holographic display showing the colony's status. Empty buildings, deactivated equipment, and not a single life sign anywhere on the planet. The Vraxians weren't detecting what they expected because there was nothing left to detect. The colonists departed 12 hours ago, Sarah reported calmly. All equipment has been deactivated and all materials have been removed. The planet is yours if you want it, Admiral, but I'm afraid it's just a ball of rock now. The communication channel crackled with static as Admiral Krathvik processed this information. Our sensors show no evidence of mass evacuation. No ship movements, no energy signatures. You're lying to protect your people. This was the moment Sarah had been waiting for. The moment when humanity would reveal just how much they had underestimated human ingenuity. Dr. Marcus Thompson, please explain our departure methods to the Admiral. A new figure appeared on the communication screen. Dr. Thompson was a quiet man in his 60s who had spent the last 15 years working on humanity's most classified project. To the aliens, he looked like just another human scientist. They had no idea they were looking at the architect of their downfall. Admiral Krathvik, Dr. Thompson began in his mild professorial tone. I'd like to introduce you to the dimensional fold drive. While your species spent centuries perfecting weapons and bureaucracy, humanity has been working on a different kind of technology. The tactical display shifted to show a three-dimensional model of spacetime, with folded sections that seemed to bend reality itself. You see, we discovered that space can be folded like a sheet of paper. Instead of traveling through normal space, our ships slit between dimensional layers. No energy signature, no detectable movement, and no way for your sensors to track us. Admiral Krathvik's voice carried a note of disbelief. Dimensional manipulation is theoretically impossible. The energy requirements alone would require a complete understanding of quantum mechanics that apparently exceeds consortium knowledge. Dr. Thompson interrupted gently. We've been using this technology for our evacuation. Every human colony, every research station, every settlement has been quietly moved to dimensional space beyond your reach. Sarah watched the Vraxian ship's sensor arrays working frantically, trying to detect something, anything that would prove the humans were lying. But the truth was exactly what they had been told. While the consortium had focused on controlling human innovation, humanity had secretly developed technology that made them effectively invisible. On the bridge of her flagship, Admiral Krathvik was experiencing something Vraxians rarely felt: uncertainty. Her tactical officer reported that 7 other consortium fleets had reached human colonies with identical results. Empty planets, deactivated equipment, and no trace of the populations that had lived there. It's not possible, she muttered, reviewing the sensor data again. 50 billion humans don't just disappear. Her communications officer looked up from his station. Admiral, we're receiving reports from across consortium space. Trade networks are failing. The quantum communication grid is experiencing cascading failures. Life support systems on 17 major stations have gone offline. Admiral Krathvik felt something cold settle in her stomach. The Vraxian Empire had ruled through superior technology and military might for over 1,000 years. But that technology had been increasingly dependent on human innovations. The quantum computers that managed their fleets, the medical systems that kept their populations healthy, the environmental controls that maintained their artificial worlds. All of it had been designed, built, or improved by human engineers. Get me a direct channel to Chancellor Vexhai, she ordered. The Chancellor's metallic face appeared on her screen, and Admiral Krathvik was shocked to see genuine panic in his usually composed features. Behind him, she could see the chaos of the consortium council chambers as representatives from dozens of species shouted over each other. Admiral, report your status immediately, Vexhai demanded. The human colonies are empty, Chancellor. All of them. The populations have vanished using some kind of dimensional technology we've never seen before. Vexhai's mechanical hands clenched into fists. Find them. Use every sensor array in the fleet. They can't have gone far. Sir, there's more. Our technical departments are reporting system failures across the Empire. The humans didn't just take their people, they took their knowledge with them. On the screen, Vexai turned to address someone off-camera. Admiral Krafik caught fragments of heated conversation about backup systems, emergency protocols, and the growing realization that the consortium had never developed alternatives to human technology. Meanwhile, in the dimensional fold space that Dr. Thompson's team had discovered, humanity was beginning a new chapter in their history. The colony ship New Eden drifted through a realm between realities, carrying 30,000 refugees from the Kepler system along with their families, belongings, and centuries of accumulated knowledge. Captain Lisa Park stood in the ship's main observation lounge, watching as other vessels materialized around them. The Fleet of Tomorrow, as historians would later call it, consisted of over 2,000 ships carrying the entire human population. They had escaped not just consortium space, but the normal universe itself. Engineering reports all fold drives operating normally, announced her first officer. We've successfully retrieved 97% of all human colonies. The remaining settlements are scheduled for pickup within the next 6 hours. Captain Park nodded, but her attention was focused on a smaller screen showing transmissions from normal space. The consortium was beginning to understand the scope of their loss, and the panic was spreading rapidly. Captain, incoming transmission from Dr. Thompson on the research vessel Discovery, her communications officer reported. Dr. Thompson's image appeared on the main screen, but now he looked different. Gone was the mild-mannered professor the aliens had dismissed. In his place was a man who had spent 15 years preparing for humanity's greatest achievement. All primary objectives completed, he reported. Every human settlement has been successfully relocated to dimensional space. We've also recovered all critical technology databases and research materials. The consortium now has access to exactly 0% of ongoing human innovations. Captain Park studied the tactical display showing their current position. They existed in a pocket of folded space-time that was technically adjacent to the normal universe, but completely undetectable by conventional sensors. Humanity had essentially stepped sideways out of reality itself. What about the long-term plan? She asked. Dr. Thompson's expression grew serious. We've identified 17 uninhabited star systems in unexplored regions of the galaxy. With our dimensional fold technology, we can establish colonies there without any risk of consortium interference. We'll be completely self-sufficient within 5 years. And if they try to follow us? They can't, Dr. Thompson replied with quiet confidence. Dimensional fold technology requires an understanding of theoretical physics that frankly exceeds anything the consortium has ever demonstrated. They spent so long relying on human innovation that they never bothered to understand the principles behind it. Back in normal space, the full scope of the disaster was becoming clear to consortium leadership. Chancellor Vexai stood in the emergency command center on Station Nexus, watching as reports flooded in from across their territory. Power grid failures on 47 worlds, his aide reported. The fusion containment systems are breaking down without human maintenance protocols. Medical facilities are reporting critical shortages, added another officer. The nanomedicine production facilities have shut down completely. Trade networks have collapsed, called out a third. The quantum routing systems that manage interstellar commerce are offline. Chancellor Vexai realized with growing horror that the consortium hadn't just lost a member species, they had lost the foundation of their civilization. For decades, human engineers had quietly become essential to every major system in consortium space. They had designed better computers, improved life support systems, and solved engineering problems that alien species couldn't handle. Sir, his chief technology officer approached hesitantly. We've completed our analysis of the human departure. Their dimensional technology appears to be based on principles we don't understand. We estimate it would take our best scientists several centuries to develop anything comparable. What about compelling them to return? Vexai asked desperately. Sir, they're no longer in our universe. We have no way to contact them, track them, or influence them in any way. They have effectively ceased to exist from our perspective. As Chancellor Vexhai absorbed this information, alarms began sounding throughout the station. Another power grid was failing, and without human engineers to maintain the quantum stabilizers, Station Nexus itself was at risk. 3 months later, the Intergalactic Trade Consortium had collapsed entirely. Without human innovation to drive progress and human expertise to maintain critical systems, the Great Alliance that had dominated the galaxy for millennia crumbled into isolated fragments. The Vraxian Empire retreated to their core worlds, struggling to maintain even basic technology without human support. The Ethereals found their sophisticated life support systems failing as nanomedicine production ceased. The Crystalline Assembly watched their computational networks fragment as quantum computers, designed by human engineers, broke down one by one. In the dimensional fold space that had become humanity's new home, Captain Maya Chen stood on the observation deck of New Earth Station, watching as construction crews put the finishing touches on their first permanent settlement. Around her, thousands of ships waited to begin the next phase of human expansion into unexplored regions of the galaxy. Dr. James Porter joined her at the viewing window, looking tired but satisfied. "The new colonies are ahead of schedule," he reported. "We'll have self-sufficient settlements in 12 systems within a year." Maya smiled as she watched human engineering create wonders in their new dimensional haven. "Any regrets about leaving the old galaxy behind?" "None whatsoever," Porter replied. "We gave them centuries of innovation and received nothing but condescension in return. They made their choice when they decided we were nothing more than useful servants." Maya nodded, remembering Chancellor Vexhai's mechanical voice dismissing human achievements. "I wonder if they understand yet what they lost." "They're learning," Porter said grimly. "Our long-range sensors show their infrastructure continuing to decay. Without human expertise, they can't even maintain the technology we gave them, let alone develop anything new." As Maya watched humanity building a new future among the folded dimensions of spacetime, she felt a deep satisfaction. They had proven the greatest truth of the universe. Those who take others for granted inevitably lose them. The consortium had treated humanity as a resource to be exploited rather than partners to be respected. Now they were learning that some mistakes can never be repaired. And by the time they realized their error, it was already too late. Humanity had walked away from the galaxy, and they weren't coming back.